We're watching.
Subscribe.
Hello, you're watching Screen Stalker. I'm Laurie Blake, and this is the movie news. Have yourself a little super click party by tapping like, caressing subscribe, and feeding the bell icon to a pack of rabid wolves to enable notifications, and leave us a comment down below to answer our question of the day. Which Pokemon are you most excited to see on the big screen in Detective Pikachu? And if you do all of that, you qualify to join the Screen Stalker Super Click, which is too sweet. But now, continuing on with that Pokemon theme, Detective Pikachu is out next week, and it sees Ryan Reynolds voicing a sleuthing, loquacious Electro mouse in a city in which people and Pokemon live in perfect harmony. It's beautiful. It's like the Garden of Eden. It's one of those live-action video game adaptations where we're all like, no, that won't work. Warner, they've got to be Ludicolo making that. And then we saw the trailer and we were all like, okay, maybe you got something here, Ryan Reynolds. We can all nurse that joy for longer now, as from the reviews that came out overnight, it seems like critics seem to think so too. Although I imagine there's plenty of 50-year-old dudes among them going, so which one of these is a Pokemon? Fortunately though, cute monsters are super effective against critic-type Pokemon, and reviews almost unanimously praise the realization of the cuddly critters on the big screen. Even if Charizard is utterly terrifying, Jigglypuff has weird poodle fur, and Mr. Mime is just a creep who shouldn't be anywhere near a kid's film. Dave Trombone from Collider said, every scene has Pokemon in it, with some obvious ones front and center and other, more obscure ones tucked away in the background or hiding in the shadows, but they're there for fans to find and be delighted for discovering them. While Dan Casey from Nerdist said that eschewing the familiar faces of characters like Ash, Misty and Brock in favor of Detective Pikachu was a massive gamble, but the film's outsized charms, rock solid emotional core and fantastic world building paid off in spades. But many took issue with the film's story, which they said that while inspired by gumshoe detective movies was much more than noir. Screen Crush's Matt Singer cried Gigavolt Havoc, saying, Detective Pikachu is an incredible setting surrounded by a snooze of a story. The mystery, characters, and comedy, or mostly the lack of comedy, are all forgettable. While Chris Nashawati from Entertainment Weekly gave the plot an all-out pummeling, saying it was narratively incoherent to the point of almost being avant-garde. Despite all that though, I've got my own hopes up that I'll really enjoy this and that it'll do well at the box office, especially with kids, because Warner are trying to get both another DC universe off the ground and are turning the monsterverse of King Kong and Godzilla into an ongoing franchise. So here's hoping, if this does well, we get more live-action Pokemon on our screens soon. The Pokeverse. From one potential cinematic universe to the cinematic universe, Marvel, who apparently are already starting their campaign to get Avengers Endgame nominated for an Oscar ahead of next year's ceremony. Because yeah, superhero films have often been overlooked when it comes to the Academy, with only some outliers like Heath Ledger's Best Supporting Actor win and Logan's Best Adapted Screenplay nod breaking through the anti-comic force field around the event. And it's sentences like that might explain the Academy's reluctance to really give superhero films their due. But that all seemed to change with Black Panther, which was nominated for Best Picture and may not have won, but at least managed to get into contention for the top prize. And it seems like Marvel are hoping that particular sling ring portal to the Oscars is still open and they can get all of the Avengers streaming through. That's at least according to Fandango's Eric Davis, who said an Endgame screening for the Academy members took place this week. There was a big screening for #Avengers Endgame for Academy members this week. Early sign of a major Oscars push. Is Endgame Best Picture material? I think it is. I think he's right, from the crazy fan reaction, record-shattering performance at the box office, and the once-in-a-lifetime moment of a film being the culmination of an 11-year story that has spanned 22 other films, it is certainly the sort of cinematic achievement that deserves to be considered. Someone else getting considered, or at least reconsidered, are the soulless little eyes of this fluffy blue spike badger thing. Because when the trailer for the Sonic the Hedgehog movie hit earlier this week, many fans cracked their own knuckles and hit their keyboards to pour out their frustration with just how rough the retro icon was looking in this particular adaptation. Because the blue blur had become the blue... That makes me sick. And people online were not afraid to let others know. I've been telling Screen Stalker's own Sonic the Hedgehog fan Luke Owen every day. Look at him, Luke! Look at your child here! Look how disgusting he is! Look at him!
I won't look!
Look at him!
Look at him!
And the very vocal backlash clearly stung Paramount Pictures worse than the chili dog on his way out your arse, because director Jeff Fowler took to Twitter to respond to the criticism. Thank you for the support and the criticism. The message is loud and clear. You aren't happy with the design and you want changes. It's going to happen. Everyone at Paramount and Sega are fully committed to making this character the best he can be. Hashtag Sonic movie. Hashtag gotta fix fast. Spanner emoji. Peace sign emoji. And that's great news for those of us sickened by this hideous cobalt chimera, and probably the best move for the film overall, because that kind of groundswell of negative energy risked tripping the film up before it even got up and running. But this big change is quite unusual, because with a November release date in the US, it is rare that a film would get quite so drastic an overhaul this late in the day, as there is only 6 months left to figure out what a reimagined Sonic the Hedgehog looks like. Thankfully though, plenty of fans have had a crack in the last few days, so there's loads of inspo out there. Here's hoping that they get it right, because otherwise everyone's going to be rooting for the traffic when Sonic crosses the road. Thank you for watching, and don't forget that super click party on the like, subscribe, and bell icons to make yourself too sweet. And head on over there to watch more awesome Screen Stalker content, and also for more information and for tickets on the screening of the So Bad It's Good wrestling movie Ready to Rumble that we're doing at the Prince Charles Cinema in London next Tuesday, where myself, Ollie Davis, Luke Owen, Chopper Pete, housemate Simon, and more of the WrestleTalk Screen Stalker family members will be introducing the movie, meeting and greeting, and recording a live podcast. I've been Laurie Blake, and remember, we're watching.